All right, Conjuring House drama 2024. Let's get into it.
Now, new details in a Target 12 investigators exclusive that grabbed national attention, Conjuring House controversy. A couple says they lost thousands of dollars worth of belongings in a barn fire on the Conjuring property and have been waiting more months to be made whole again. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Shannon Heggie.
I'm Mike Montecalvo.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, the Conjuring House was part of the Ed and Lorraine Warren, husband-wife Catholic couple that investigated a lot of famous global paranormal things over the last several decades. They're both passed away now. I believe their graveyard is in Connecticut, and their headstone or tombstone or whatever you want to call it's quite large actually. It's quite a beautiful piece of art and representative of their faith.
Last week, we broke the story about a former employee who says he was fired after the owner claims a spirit spoke to her. Target 12 investigator Sarah Grinelli is here now with the details. Sarah?
Just so you know, let's just open up a new tab here. Let's go Conjuring House. So if you actually look at the Google reviews for this place, this property, it's 4.5 stars, and there is a lot of reviews. So apparently you can go and you can pay to spend a night at this house. Some famous people have done so. But if you look at the reviews, a lot of the people that have reviewed the house and spent the night there and like went there and checked it out have had experiences. Now, as a believer in the Catholic tradition, I would never, it's not in my DNA to purposefully go and try to experience such things, but I can understand why the Warrens would want to go to help out a family who was experiencing such things. And that's kind of where their case file took off. So if that was like in my wheelhouse of like helping people and that kind of thing, I got it. But, you know, biblically we're called not to, you know, look on stuff like that and dwell on stuff like that and really meditate on stuff like keep our eyes on good things kind of thing. Anyway, so it is a real place. You can check out some of those reviews if you're interested to see what the experiences have been. But I digress. Let's get back to it.
The barn fire at the Conjuring House broke out in December. A couple tells me the owner said that she would reimburse them with insurance money for the items that they lost, but that never happened. On more than 8 acres of sprawling land in Burrville sits the historic Conjuring House and a charred barn.
It's not this evil, dark place that some people have made it out to seem. It is a beautiful, haunted property.
The home was made famous by a horror movie in 2013. In December, a fire tore through the barn on the property.
We got a call around midnight, I want to say, that the barn was on.
Now, I'm not positive here, but I remember watching a snippet on this place after I watched the movie, and I'm pretty sure at that time it was a gentleman that owned the property, so I'm not sure if it's switched hands since then, because the way they're talking, it sounds like it's like a lady that owns it now.
Fire, and immediately we rushed down there, and it definitely was on fire.
The owner, Jacqueline Nunez, tells Target 12 she spent $450,000 to renovate the historic barn, with hopes of opening up a museum on the property. Then employees Satori Hawes and Cody Desbian say they put items in there to help fill the museum with what they call haunted artifacts, but lost most of it in the fire.
Okay, that photo right there is very creepy. Very creepy.
We had everything from velvet curtains in there to sound equipment, you know, like
Well, let's just go back to the beginning here. I feel like...
Now, new details in a Target 12 investigators exclusive that grabbed national attention, Conjuring House controversy. A couple says they lost thousands of dollars worth of belongings in a barn fire on the Conjuring property and have been waiting more months to be made whole again. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Shannon Heggie.
I'm Mike Montecalvo. Last week, we broke the story about a former employee who says he was fired after the owner claims a spirit spoke to her. Target 12 investigator Sarah Grinelli is here now with...
Yeah, I didn't catch that part. So the current owner, felt like the spirit said to fire another employee. So those other two are different employees. Okay. I wanted to clarify that.
Sarah?
The barn fire at the Conjuring house broke out in December. A couple tells me the owner said that she would reimburse them with insurance money for the items that they lost, but that never happened. On more than 8 acres of sprawling land in Burrville sits the historic Conjuring house.
Yeah, I'm positive. I'm 100% positive now. When I watched a video, I think it was from Grim Collective, maybe a year or two ago. Maybe I can't remember how long ago it was. It was definitely after I watched the movie about this story, about this family that was in there. And I specifically remember in the Grim Life episode that the owner was talking to them. There's 2 people on the Grim Life Collective. I think it's a gentleman and his girlfriend or wife. And anyway, they visited and the owner was talking to them. And I seem to remember it being kind of a younger gentleman to me. So I'm thinking maybe like mid-30s, you know? I don't know. But anyway, by the sounds of this video here, we're talking about one owner being a lady. So maybe she bought it, or maybe that's the wife of the gentleman that I have
and a
memory
charred
of.
barn.
It's not this evil, dark place that some people have made it out to seem.
Okay, first of all, I don't know what she's talking about, because if you look at the reviews on Google over the last like a long time, I remember checking this out back then too. There's been a lot of authentic experiences there, and you know, obviously this person here is maybe trying to minimize certain elements of this story for her own benefit, I would imagine.
It is a beautiful haunted property.
The home.
Okay, so she just likes haunted places, so it's a beautiful haunted property. Okay, that makes sense. I thought she was trying to take the haunted element out of it.
Was made famous by a horror movie in 2013. In December, a fire tore through the barn on the property.
We got a call around midnight, I want to say, that the barn was on fire, and immediately we rushed down there, and it definitely was on fire.
The owner, Jacqueline Nunez, tells Target 12 she spent $450,000 to renovate the historic barn.
$500,000, eh?
With hopes of opening up a museum on the property. Then employees Satori Haas and Cody Desbian say they put items in there to help fill the museum with what they call haunted artifacts, but lost most of.
All right. Let me see here. I'm going to open a new tab over here off the screen here. I'm going to say, who owns the Conjuring home? Let's just ask ChatGPT. Who owns the Conjuring house? I guess it's more like a farm. Okay, so it's sold in 2022. Let's see if that was after. Okay, the movie came out in 2013. Okay, it says Jen and Corey Heinzen had bought the roughly 3,100 square foot house in 2019 for... That is a weird looking number. It's like a number, a comma, 2 numbers, a comma, 3 numbers. So I'm assuming they mean 4.3 million. No, it can't be 4.39 million because it just sold for 1.5. So it must be 439,000. Paranormal investigators, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, okay, so they sold to the developer. Okay, this purchase is personal for me. Buyer Jacqueline Nunez, owner of Wonder Group LLC, told the Boston Globe. Okay, so, yeah, okay, I get it. That's what I was remembering. So the couple, right? So this couple owned it when I watched the video back in the day. And then that's the Annabelle doll, by the way. So that's a picture in the Warrens Museum, I believe. Anyway. They were the owners of the house. They bought it for $439,000. See how that looks weird there? Anyway, they sold it to Jacqueline for $1.5 million. Nothing like making a cool $1 million on your purchase in less than 10 years. And now Jacqueline Nunez. So let's see if it's Jacqueline Nunez there is who they're talking about here on this video.
in the fire.
We had everything from velvet curtains in there to sound equipment, you know, like speakers and stuff for music to play in there. We had furniture, all sorts of stuff.
They say Nunez promised to refund them for their losses using insurance money.
I have text messages proving that. And then a few months later, I asked for an update. And she says, oh, I need you to send me the list again, which I did.
Here's one of those texts from Nunez.
All right, let's see here. What kind of money are we looking at here? Velvet rope dividers, 2 sets, almost $400. Black window curtains, $100. Speaker, $23. Must have been a kind of a crappy speaker. Large antique wooden bar, unknown price, will need restoration. Gone now. Drill and battery, Ryobi cordless drill. Unknown price. You could look that up easy. Skill saw, unknown price. You could look that up easy. Jigsaw. I'm assuming these were probably old hand-me-down tools. Ryobi nail gun, unknown price. Ryobi battery and charger systems, unknown price. Okay, if you're trying to get money for some stuff from insurance, or even the person who's dealing with insurance on your behalf, oh, well, let's see the comment here. You're going to need to put some prices on this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll do it.
Yes, saying you're going to need to...
I'm not seeing a lot of financial... you know, obviously it's worth money, but it's not like we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars.
To get pricing for these other items. So do that and hang on to it, and I'll get it from you when the insurance adjuster asks for it.
In the back of our minds,
if I was this owner, if this was me, and I had some employees that brought in some of their own stuff to help me promote and build a business, and there was a fire and I lost it, and we're talking about these kind of prices here, and I'm the one dealing with insurance, I'm just going to give them the cash and say, sorry for your loss, and then just try to recoup as much as I can from insurance. Like, I mean, I don't see what the hang up is here.
there was part of us that knew that we weren't going.
Maybe Jacqueline ran out of money after paying for an extra $1.1 million for that house.
To get that money.
In a statement to Target 12, the owner Nunez says the insurance money did not
Here's
cover the
Nunez.
losses of the item and blames the former employees for the fire, writing in an email, "They, not me, hired a painting hobbyist who failed to read the instructions for how to dispose of soiled, highly combustible rags properly."
Okay, so the story thickens. All right, so we have an owner. We have two employees trying to help the owner out. Which is nice. It sounds to me like they had a connection with someone, maybe a friend who was good at painting or whatever. And part of the stuff left by that person on the property was a big component in the burn. So there's going to be some anger there for sure. Like, I mean, you have to, you can't just assume somebody's going to be like, oh, that's okay, your buddy just burned down the barn. I spent $400,000+ on fixing. It's all good. It'll all get covered by insurance. Like, there's going to be some hurt feelings there. So I think we can see where some of the conflict's coming from.
Adding she should be suing them for recklessness and negligence.
The stress of all this has been keeping me up at night.
Last week, Target 12 revealed former employee Brian Dancero says he was fired after the owner says the spirit of the house's 19th century owner spoke to her.
John Arnold told me, you've been stealing money out of the cash box for the past 2 months. And I literally stopped and I actually corrected him, like, John Arnold, one of the original owners who died in 1839, and she said, yes, and I want you to pay it back.
He has since filed a claim with the Department of Labor and Training, who are investigating wages that he says he's owed.
Yep, good for him. Get your wages that you're owed. However, I know there's a lot of skeptics out there that are going to be like, oh, she's just making that up. Look, there is a long track record for this location, and it's not just this current owner that's experienced stuff there. And once you look at those Google reviews, you'll see there's clearly some kind of demonic entity that's attached to that area for whatever reason, and it's been there for a long time now. You know, so you, like, I mean, yeah, she could totally be making it up, absolutely. And it could even be true that there's nothing there, there's nothing demonic there as well. But the ongoing experiences from people that just go to disprove the house and then leave a review, to those that have actually, you know, investigated all that kind of stuff. You know, that's your decision to make. You make that decision on your own. But I'm just saying that for this lady, this current owner, it's not out of the realm of possibility that she actually heard that. And she's not, crazy. Like, she heard that. It's totally within the realm of possibility given the background of that place. Unfortunately, this guy, got in the crossfire of the whole thing, but I do hope he gets his wages earned owing to him back for sure, 100%. Looks like it's $9,000. Like, that's legit.
Totaling $9,000. The couple says they were shocked when they heard the accusations.
I don't think John Arnold is telling the owner inside of her head that Brian stole money. I don't think any of the accusations of stealing due to spirits telling her this are true in any way.
But Nunez says she's a medium and that a spirit told her Dancero was stealing. As for her claims about the fire, the couple tell me they never hired anyone to work there.
Okay, for those of you that are religious or not religious, you'll probably know that for as far back as I can remember, whenever it's always been warned in all the major religions around the world pretty much that if you open yourself up to certain things, it could be risky. So here we have a lady who's calling herself a medium, and I'm not questioning that. She might firmly believe that she's a medium or whatever, but that is definitely a practice that could potentially open yourself up to things like that. Like, think of exorcist stories from years ago. It's still prevalent. Either way, this is an interesting story because we got some high drama here at the Conjuring house. We are approaching October, which is Halloween, so it's there's going to be a lot of people, thinking about stuff like that around the world. My personal opinion on this stuff is that, yes, definitely some stuff went down here. I think that the couple that were former employees that brought some stuff in for the barn, I think the owner should definitely pony up some cash for that. Like, there was a nice gesture from them to do so. Unfortunately, if you're looking at this from the perspective of have you crossed your T's and dotted your I's? They didn't have any paperwork showing this stuff, and they didn't have any really firm values. So it's easier on the owner to just say, no, we're good, or just not say anything at all. For the gentleman that was owed $9,000, according to him, now that's just his side of the story. Yeah, absolutely. I hope he gets his money back for sure. In terms of the location, though, have some fun with this. Look it up. Do some of your own research. Go to the Google page. Read the reviews. Go back on the reviews as far as you can. There are supremely good arguments for something happening there. There's also supremely good arguments for there not having stuff happen there. And check out the Warrens too. They're a very interesting couple with a lot of interesting stories about themselves as well. I believe they were in Connecticut, based out of Connecticut. And a lot of the popular movies for horror movies over the last few decades have been based on some of their case files. Other than that, that's kind of where I stand on the issue. Take care, God bless, and stay classy. And maybe stay away from the Conjuring house.